What's happening, Raider Nation? Buckle up, silver and black faithful, because your Las Vegas Raiders just delivered 3 massive bombshells that are about to shake the entire NFL landscape. We're talking earth-shattering moves that could completely redefine this franchise's destiny in 2025. And trust me, you're not prepared for what's coming. Right now, as training camp reaches fever pitch at Allegiant Stadium, there's a veteran offensive lineman who's making a position switch that could unlock the entire offense's potential. But that's just the appetizer, Raider Nation. Meanwhile, an NFL insider just dropped some explosive intel about a defensive unit that's looking absolutely terrifying. And I mean terrifying in the best possible way. And if that wasn't enough to get your blood pumping, we've got injury news that's sending shockwaves through the entire organization, forcing immediate changes that nobody saw coming. This isn't just another training camp update, Raider Nation. This is the kind of news that separates championship seasons from rebuilding years. We're talking about moves that could either catapult the silver and black into playoff contention or completely derail everything before the season even starts. The ripple effects from these 3 developments are already being felt throughout the locker room, and head coach Pete Carroll is having to make adjustments that could change everything, from offensive line shuffles that could protect our quarterback like never before, to defensive revelations that have insiders calling this unit a pleasant surprise, to unexpected injuries that are forcing the coaching staff to completely rethink their secondary strategies. So smash that like button if you're ready for some shocking Raiders news. Drop a comment below with your predictions for this season, and make sure you're subscribed because this story is about to get absolutely wild. We've got insider information that's gonna blow your mind, player. Quotes that'll give you chills, and injury updates that are changing everything we thought we knew about this 2025 roster. Are you ready to find out which veteran player is making a position change that could unlock the Raiders' offensive potential? The answer might surprise you, and it's exactly what this team needs to finally establish that ground game that disappeared last season. Let's dive into the first shocking development that's got everyone in silver and black talking. Here we go, Raider Nation. It's time to reveal the first game changer, and it's all about Jordan Meredith. That's right, the veteran offensive lineman who had a solid season last year is now making the transition to center, and this move could be the key that unlocks everything Pete Carroll is trying to build with this offense. This isn't just a minor position shuffle. This is a strategic masterstroke that could completely transform how the Raiders protect veteran quarterback Geno Smith and establish that ground game that was absolutely non-existent last season. Meredith has been taking more and more reps at center throughout training camp, and his own words reveal just how prepared he is for this challenge. Yes, so coming out of college at Western Kentucky, I was told I was going to have to play center, so I slowly started the transition there. And then coming to the Raiders, they tried to get me to play center, get a couple reps there, and then over time I've been taking more and more reps. But here's what's got Raider Nation buzzing. This move represents something much bigger than just one player changing positions. The entire offensive line philosophy is being rebuilt from the ground up. We're talking about a unit that's mixing young, talented players with seasoned veterans, all working together to create the kind of protection that could turn Geno Smith into a legitimate playoff quarterback. The offensive line was supposed to be the foundation of this team's success. And now, with Meredith anchoring the center position, they're finally getting the chemistry they need to open up those running lanes that were completely absent last year. This isn't just about pass protection anymore. This is about establishing a ground game that can control the clock, wear down defenses, and give this Raiders offense the balance it desperately needs. Meredith's attitude about this transition says everything you need to know about the culture Pete Carroll is building. At the end of the day, I am here to compete and have fun and get out there in any position I can. That's the kind of selfless team-first mentality that wins championships, Raider Nation. The coaching staff has been mixing things up on both sides of the ball, experimenting with different combinations to find the perfect 5-man unit that can give this offense the foundation it needs. And with Meredith stepping up at center, they might have found a missing piece that ties everything together. But wait until you hear what NFL insiders are saying about the defensive side of the ball. Because what's happening with the linebacker corps is absolutely stunning. The transformation is so dramatic that experts are calling it a pleasant surprise. and the veteran additions are looking like they could completely change this defense's identity. Are you ready for some insider intel? That's going to blow your mind. Hold on to your seats, Raider Nation, because what's happening with this defense is absolutely incredible. We just heard about the offensive line getting stronger, but now we've got NFL insider Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated dropping some explosive intelligence about the linebacker position that's got everyone in the league taking notice. This isn't just improvement. This is a complete transformation that could turn the Raiders' defense into a legitimate force to be reckoned with in 2025. Here's what Breer is reporting from training camp, and these words should send chills down every AFC West quarterback's spine. Linebacker is an area that's been a pleasant surprise for Pete Carroll and his staff. DC Patrick Graham returns from the Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce staffs with a new nerve center of his defense in Elandon Roberts. And Roberts has impressed Carroll early on. But that's just the beginning, Raider Nation. The linebacker revolution doesn't stop there. We're talking about veteran acquisitions that are looking like absolute steals. Jermaine Pratt, coming over from Cincinnati, is showing exactly why the Raiders targeted him. Pratt has shown the sort of heady, physical, fast-playing linebacker he can be. And here's where it gets absolutely insane. Devin White, the former Tampa Bay linebacker who was brought in by the new regime, looks like he's found new life in silver and black. Breer reports that White looks like he's got new life and motivation to pull his career from a ditch. We're talking about a player who was a Super Bowl champion with Tampa Bay, and now he's hungry to prove he still belongs among the elite linebackers in this league. But wait, there's more. The Raiders have made another shocking move that nobody saw coming. Jamal Adams, the veteran safety who has history with Pete Carroll from their Seattle days, has made a full-time transition to linebacker. Breer calls him an intriguing veteran option with his full-time move to the position. This linebacker core went from being a major question mark to potentially being the strength of this entire defense. We're talking about a complete overhaul that combines veteran leadership with young talent, creating a unit that has NFL insiders saying this is one spot that looks like it's in good shape. The defense was already the best unit on the team last season, and now with this linebacker transformation, they could be absolutely dominant. Patrick Graham has his defensive nerve center in Roberts, veteran playmakers in Pratt and White, and the versatility of Adams making the move from safety to linebacker. This isn't just about individual players getting better. This is about defensive coordinator Patrick Graham building something special with this mix of veterans and young talent. Let them know that chemistry is already showing in training camp. And if this translates to the regular season, AFC West offenses are in for a nightmare. But Raider Nation, brace yourselves because we've got one more development that's absolutely shocking, and it involves an injury that's already forcing major changes to the defensive game plan. The secondary just took a major hit that nobody saw coming, and the ripple effects are going to be felt throughout the entire organization. Raider Nation, this is the bombshell that's rocking everything we just talked about. Just when we thought the defense was coming together perfectly, disaster struck at Saturday's practice at Allegiant Stadium. Lonnie Johnson Jr., the veteran safety who signed a one-year deal this offseason, suffered a broken fibula in a collision with defensive end Max Crosby while attempting to tackle running back Raheem Mostert. This isn't just any practice injury, Raider Nation. This is the kind of devastating blow that forces immediate changes to everything Pete Carroll and defensive coordinator Patrick Graham have been building. Johnson was receiving first-team reps in 3 safety packages, moving Jeremy Chin to nickel back in those specific sets. Now, that entire defensive scheme has to be completely reimagined. The collision happened so suddenly that Johnson had to be carted off the field, and while the initial diagnosis shows a broken fibula, he's getting an MRI to determine if there's additional damage. We're talking about a 6-year veteran who was finally finding his role in this Raiders secondary, and now that entire position group has to adjust on the fly. But here's where the story gets even more complicated, Raider Nation. The Raiders have already dealt with major turnover in their secondary. losing safety Trayvon Moehrig, who was second on the team in tackles. Johnson was supposed to help fill that void as part of the rotation, and now that plan is completely out the window. The pressure is now entirely on Jamal Adams to potentially shift back to his natural safety position, even though he's been excelling as a linebacker in training camp. Remember what we just heard from Albert Breer about Adams being an intriguing veteran option at linebacker. Well, now the coaching staff might need him to be that intriguing option at safety instead. This injury doesn't just affect one player. It's a domino effect that could change the entire defensive identity. Jeremy Chin might have to take on even more responsibilities, and the 3 safety packages that were designed to give this defense more versatility might have to be completely scrapped or redesigned. And if all of this wasn't dramatic enough, there's also the shadow of Christian Wilkins' recent release hanging over this defense. The veteran defensive tackle was supposed to be a key part of the defensive line, but the Raiders chose to part ways with him due to his recovery from a Jones fracture and an alleged incident involving a playful kiss with a teammate in the locker room. Raider Nation, this is exactly the kind of adversity that defines championship seasons. Do they have the depth and coaching to overcome these setbacks? Can Patrick Graham adjust his defensive schemes on the fly? Will Jamal Adams be the versatile solution they need, whether at linebacker or safety? The 2025 season hasn't even started yet, and the Raiders are already facing major tests that will determine whether this team can live up to the playoff expectations that have been building throughout training camp. So smash that like button if you believe Raider Nation can overcome these challenges. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on how Pete Carroll should handle these defensive changes. And make sure you're subscribed because we'll be following every single development as this story continues to unfold. These are the moments that separate pretenders from contenders, Raider Nation. The question isn't whether adversity will hit, it's how your team responds when it does. Are the silver and black ready to prove they belong among the AFC's elite, or will these early setbacks define their entire season? Only time will tell, but one thing's for certain. Raider Nation will be watching every single snap